At 2 a.m., your mind feels cleaner, not calmer, cleaner. Thoughts line up without effort. Words form without thinking. Problems that felt messy at 3 p.m. suddenly make sense. You don't feel smarter, you feel unblocked. During the day, your thinking feels crowded, like someone's watching while you think. If that just hit you, this is for you. Here's the part no one talks about. That 2 a.m. clarity is real. You don't think better at night, you think without an audience. It's not more intelligence, it's fewer interruptions. For some brains, nighttime isn't when thinking breaks down, it's when the noise finally stops. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. The part that monitors everything you do starts to relax, but the part that actually thinks, still fully on. Your brain keeps working, it just stops judging every thought. You've probably asked, why can't I think like this during the day? Why do I only work at night? Why does my brain wait until I'm supposed to sleep? But nighttime thinking isn't broken, it's adapted. During the day, your brain is managing, watching yourself, reading the room, switching tasks, controlling how you come across. If you're intense, this load is heavier. You don't just think, you think about thinking. You run scenarios in your head. You edit yourself mid-sentence. You calculate how people will react. That awareness kept you safe. It helped you navigate social situations. It protected you from being too much, from saying the wrong thing, from being exposed. At 2 a.m., that layer drops. What's left is pure thinking. That's why it feels like relief. As you get tired, your brain's supervisor mode loosens up. It stops monitoring every single thought. This doesn't shut down your thinking, it just removes the filter. During the day, every idea gets screened before it finishes. At night, thoughts just flow. You notice this most when writing. Words come out without being edited first. You're still analytical, you just stop second-guessing yourself. The clarity feels real because it is. The mental energy you used for monitoring is now free for actual ideas. Your brain isn't finally working. It always worked. It's just not managing your image anymore. At night, your emotional alarm system quiets down. The part scanning for social danger relaxes when no one's around. No texts to answer, no judgments coming, no need to adjust yourself. You can think without worrying how it sounds. That absence of judgment removes a huge mental load. If you only think clearly alone, your clarity depends on being isolated. With fewer distractions, your brain's background system stabilizes. This is the part that connects ideas, finds patterns, builds meaning. For deep thinkers, this system runs constantly. At night, it becomes organized instead of scattered. You don't just think, you integrate. Past conversations connect, patterns appear. You understand yourself with uncomfortable accuracy. You've had 2 a.m. realizations that felt too precise to say out loud the next day. That depth isn't dramatic, it's uninterrupted focus. During the day, thinking is mixed with performing. At night, that performance layer drops. At 2 a.m., you don't think, how will this sound? You think, is this true? That shift matters. During the day, your brain does both at once. The nighttime version of you isn't reckless, it's honest. Daytime thinking is fragmented, notifications, responsibilities, decisions. At night, you can actually stay focused because nothing interrupts. You follow one thought for 40 minutes straight. That continuity creates depth, not speed. That's why 2 a.m. ideas feel solid instead of reactive. You've tried to recreate this clarity at 10 a.m. It disappears the moment someone speaks to you. When you're tired, your brain's control system backs off. This creates freedom without losing focus. You say things to yourself that are sharper, more honest, sometimes brutal. Some of your 2 a.m. insights feel deep because they're unfiltered, even towards yourself. That doesn't make them wrong, just raw. Intense minds spend the day compressing themselves into normal. At night, you stop compressing, you expand. Ideas stretch, thoughts get longer. You let yourself be complex. Your thinking feels truer because you're not editing yourself into something acceptable. You don't think better at 2 a.m., you think without performing. But there's a cost to depending on this. If your clearest thinking only happens alone, your relationships never see your real mind. Connection requires showing up during the day, not just being brilliant at midnight. If you feel smartest when everyone's asleep, you might start believing alone is better. That belief doesn't announce itself, it just quietly distances you. Over time, sleep suffers, emotions get harder to manage, patience runs thin, and burnout disguises itself as depth. You become sharp but unavailable. Not dramatic, just gradual. And your brain keeps choosing the only space where it feels uninterrupted. You're not broken for thinking at night, you're built to need silence to access your full mind. There's a specific moment around 1:47 a.m. when you realize you just understood yourself better than anyone else ever has. If that feels uncomfortably accurate, it's supposed to. When your brain stops supervising itself, what feels like brilliance is actually just the absence of self-interruption. Subscribe if you want psychology that explains you, not content that tries to fix you.